as the Prime Minister's new special envoy for freedom of religion or belief, and also as a Member of Parliament who has engaged with Open Doors for many years, it's my privilege to speak here at this event and for an Open Doors event to be my first public engagement in this role. I'm delighted about that, and I'm delighted to give a very warm welcome to the 2021 World Watch List report. Thank you for producing it, Open Doors. It is such an important document to an increasing number of parliamentarians. As a Christian myself, I understand the comfort and strength that faith brings, and so I believe passionately that the freedom to choose and practice your religion, whatever your faith, or indeed to have no religion at all, should be enjoyed by everyone, everywhere, and that no one should be discriminated against or persecuted because of it. But what has really encouraged me is how over recent years an increasing number of MPs have begun to share the concerns that Teresa and I know Open Doors have about this. Increasingly, members of Parliament are asking questions in the House of Commons. They're calling debates about particular countries where persecution is a concern. They're pressing government ministers to take action to challenge this. And in terms of this increased awareness and understanding of the importance of freedom of religion or belief, the annual World Watch List is increasingly important. It's a respected document. It's frequently referred to by members of Parliament in the House of Commons, and that's because we consider the information in it to be so well resourced and reliable, coming so often as it does directly from people in countries of concern. And that brings me to my second thank you of today, and that's to the Open Doors staff and their partners and the faith actors on the ground in those countries who do so much to ensure that that reliable information is brought forward to us as members of Parliament. Thank you too for the work that you do to help people on the ground who are discriminated against and persecuted because of their faith. Work which I know is often in very difficult, challenging and personal risky situations. You help people who are suffering because they don't have that freedom to share and live by their beliefs that we believe is so important. And of course, when you don't have that freedom, so many other freedoms can be lost too. A job, a home, family life, security, even your own liberty and life itself. So thank you for all that you do in all of those countries around the world, so many of them listed in the 50 countries in the World Watch List released today. People like Father Daniel, who we heard about in the film. And I have noted how in the 2021 report, Open Doors is calling on our government to note a number of things, to note and recognise the value of working more through local faith actors in those countries, and that government should look to make that more possible. I will feed this back to government. I'll feed back to the fact that in aid distribution, the additional vulnerabilities of people, particularly during the COVID pandemic, need to be taken into account. And thirdly, that human rights are considered in trade negotiations. And my third thank you today is to thank all the Open Doors supporters in our constituencies all around the country. It's quite remarkable to hear that there are over 1,000 people who've joined today's meeting online. And I just want to thank you, because when we as members of Parliament hear from you, such as receiving the letters and cards like these that I received from my constituents about today's event, MPs really do take notice. You have helped ensure that increased awareness on the part of so many MPs of freedom of religion or belief as a concern. You've helped to ensure that over 100 members of Parliament or their representatives have joined today's event. That's a huge number for a single parliamentary event. In fact, I can't remember one where there have been that many in my 10 years in Parliament. As a result of this report, many MPs will be using the 2021 World Lich throughout the coming year, as well as contacting Open Doors for more detailed information about countries of concern, as I did just a few weeks ago to help me present in a debate on the increased impact of COVID on those already discriminated against for their faith. A key part of my new role is to ensure that the Prime Minister is aware of such concerns and to work with the Foreign Secretary and Lord Ahmed, the Minister for Human Rights. They raise issues of concern with their counterparts in other countries on a regular basis. But I recognise too that just as Open Doors has real impact because so many of you work as a team in this country and abroad, my role will only make a difference if I work too with others. My role will only make a difference if I work cross-party with other members of Parliament here in the House of Commons. It will only make a difference if I work with faith leaders, with civil society and with organisations like Open Doors. It will make a difference if I can work with my international counterparts from other countries, and it may encourage you to know that just this afternoon I have recently been in a virtual meeting with representatives from 32 other countries where there are envoy roles appointed similar to myself. It's enormously encouraging to me to see how concerns about freedom of religion or belief are growing around the world. And one of my priorities is to ensure that the UK contributes to its international lead, its growing international lead on this issue. And as Teresa has said, another of my priorities is to oversee the full implementation of the Bishop of Truro's recommendations in his review on how our Foreign and Commonwealth Office, which is now called our Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, can support persecuted Christians around the world. But as the 2021 World Watch List report says, Christians will only be free from persecution when freedom of religion or belief is guaranteed for all. Societies which aim to protect and promote freedom of religion or belief are far more likely to be stable, prosperous, and resilient against violent extremism. But where societies exclude freedom of religion or belief for some, for example, for some faiths or minority groups, everyone suffers. Preventing that suffering, which is affecting millions across the globe, as we've heard from Henrietta today, is why the work of Open Doors is so vital. And so in closing, can I say for me that the envoy role, whilst it is a privilege, will most importantly for me be about making a difference in the daily lives of people like Amira, who we heard of today in the film. That will be the measure of whether over time my envoy work is worthwhile. I want to put on record my heartfelt compassion and respect for all those who make a stand and suffer often acutely for their beliefs. For me, at the heart of freedom of religion or belief has to be respecting the unique worth of every human being. It's about the importance of treating every individual with dignity. It's about saying, you matter, you have purpose, you are significant. Wherever you are in the world, whatever your faith or none, you are not forgotten, you are not disregarded, you are not overlooked.